Hey everyone, welcome back to theclinicaltrialsguru.com. Once again, that website address for you is www.theclinicaltrialsguru.com. I'm Dan Sfera. Thank you for coming back. Today's question that I'm going to kind of go over is a good one that I got from someone on Facebook, and it's the question is, can I still see my doctor when I'm in a clinical trial? The answer is yes, and actually most clinical trials, most clinical trial companies and clinical trial staff would recommend that you not only continue seeing your doctor, but that you allow the clinical trial staff and your doctor to communicate back and forth about exactly what's going on in the clinical trial and what's going on with your medical condition. So not only will you have a lot of paperwork going back and forth between your regular doctor and the clinical trial staff, but ideally you want to have them communicating. And especially at any sign of any type of side effect, even if it's minor and relatively insignificant, you want to have open communication between your doctor and the study staff. And sometimes, in many cases, your doctor is the one doing the study. And in those cases, it's ideal, and those type of research clinics usually have no problem enrolling study participants because the study doctor already has has already built trust over time, sometimes over many years, with their own patients in their private practice. So then it's natural for them to explain what a clinical trial is and this and that, but that's not often the case. Usually you have doctors who do clinical trials, and then they'll be in communication with your regular doctor, who many times doesn't really know what clinical trials are, but they might be open to it, and they'll be more open to it if you allow for open communication between the two parties. So to answer your question in short, yes, you are allowed to continue seeing your doctor if you do participate in a clinical trial. In fact, it's encouraged, and usually the clinical trial, of course each one is different, but for the most part, when they're outpatient clinical trials, you'll only come into the office one day a week or one day every other week or sometimes even one day a month. And those visits, when you do come into the clinical trial, are usually no more than 1 to 2 hours. Although sometimes they do go to 4 or 5 hours, but for the most part, it's 1 or 2 hours. So yes, sometimes participating in a clinical trial requires less commitment than a lot of people think. So it's not like you have to drop your medical care with your current doctor in order to participate in a clinical trial. In fact, the two are mutually beneficial, and they've proven to be so over the course of my experiences, and I'm sure Don will say the same. So hopefully this helps to answer your question of, will I still be able to see my doctor if I sign up for a clinical trial? The answer is, of course. Thank you everyone for tuning in, and please check us out later on. It's theclinicaltrialsguru.com. Thanks a lot.